Will you got paid? Oh, what time? And I was married to me? And how long was married to me?
What time is it now?
7:30.
What time is now?
We'll be able to leave here before 8. We have to leave here about 8 o'clock.
Okay, good. What time is now?
7:30.
Oh, good.
It's not the time.
We speak yesterday about the difference kosher Pesach and kosher the whole year, and that throughout the year milk and meat has to be eaten separately, and if the two different foods come together, so it's unkosher, it's unfit for, it's not kosher, but it's according to the percentage of meat and milk that's in the same dish. So if there's 60 times as much of one and 160 of the other, so then it's nullified. There's 60 times as much meat as there's milk, or 60 times as much milk as there's meat. So it doesn't make the whole thing unfit for to be consumed as kosher.
That's only with the oven.
But that's only throughout the year. On Passover and Pesach, even the minutest amount of unkosher product falls into a kosher dish, so the entire dish is chometz, is leavened bread, is not fit for consumption on Pesach itself. We find very interestingly that the Gemara says that when someone comes to visit a sick individual, comes to visit Margaret and Gibai, it takes away 1/60th of his illness. Take 1/60th of his illness. And by Jacob, by Yaakov Avinu, it says there that they informed his son Yosef, Hine avicha choyle. Behold, your father is ill. So the word hine, when you total up of each letter, Hey is the 5th letter of the alphabet, and Nun is the 50th, 50, is 55, and again Hey is 5, makes it 60. So Hine Avicha Choyle tells us that he was with his full 60 degrees, 60%, he was suffering illness. Then that was his condition at that time. But when his son Joseph came to visit him, so it tells us by his chazik Yisrael Vayeshev al Reish Hamita, that he sat himself up. He summoned by his chazik. He felt he was strengthened. He was some sort of degree of healing he experienced, and he sat on Reish Hamita and the head of the bed. The word Hamita, if you total up, the Hey is 5, and the Mem is 40, is 45, and the Tes is 9, is 54, and 5 is 59. So at that point he had only 59 degrees of the illness left because his son Joseph came to visit him in Mita. So there also, they say, why is it that exactly that he removes, someone comes to visit an ill person, comes to visit him, takes the time, he removes 1/60 of his illness, it's also for the same reason, because by removing 1/60th of his illness, so it remains only 59 parts, so any degree of illness, of healing, that he experiences, it doesn't become null and void, it's not bottle, and then that will be built, and the person should experience and have a full a complete healing. The Pesach it's tied up in a lot of expense. Passover, preparing for Pesach, the matzah is the price of matzah. Every year it keeps on, the inflation keeps on going up, the price every year. And the Gemara says that that the person, his what he's supposed to earn to sustain himself, to have to provide for himself, for his family, it's from heaven decreed from New Year's, 2 years exactly, how much that he should have, what to live on. So it's just a question of faith, and more than faith that this was what was going to take place. It says that Yaakov Avinu, when he went out to face danger, so he said, "In Nosel Lilakim, Lilakim, Lachem Lachol Beged Lil Boish, Nosel Lachem Lachol Beged Lil Boish, Boishi Lilakim." He said, then the Almighty, He'll be my Rebbeinu Shalom. If He'll give me what to eat, food, lechem, bread, lechol to eat, ubeged, and clothing, little boyish to wear. So then he said, money, he says, give it to me, then you'll be, I said, I have faith in you. It seems to be superfluous. It's Ibrik, it should say, it should be lechem, bread. What else are you going to do with the bread? Yeah, of course you eat it. Only lechem, and beged, clothing is also to wear. Why does it have to say lechem, bread to eat, and clothing to wear? We see that those that unfortunately are not observant, and they'll on Yom Kippur they won't fast, so they'll eat, or other fast days that you're supposed to fast and they don't observe. So where did they get food to eat on those days? If the Almighty decrees exactly how much you're supposed to have, so I mean He decreed that you should have what to eat on a fast day and to transgress His commandments, His laws. It doesn't seem to make sense. The Pshat Hazeh, that's not really to say that. It's off the record. We see that those and Beged, little boys, we see those that are nowadays, with their dress, not being dressed modestly or far from it, more like one lady came to the doctor and the way she was so scantily dressed. So he examined her, told me, he said, oh, you have a very bad cold, go home and get dressed. So they dress so scantily. So what they're money that you're supposed to spend on clothing to dress like a Jewish daughter should dress, instead of that, so she's saving on the yardage that a full dress would cost, and that money they'll take and they'll spend to buy on Yom Kippur what to eat, to go into the restaurant and eat on Yom Kippur. So Nasi Lechem Lachol. So the money should give us, He'll give us bread, what that we should decree for. We're eating what was given for bread, not what was given for clothing. We'll conclude with on Pesach. We mentioned that even the minutest amount of a chametz particle falls into a Passover dish, it makes it in that chametz. So the reason for it, Mishur brings, the reason for it is because being that the transgressing, eating chametz on Passover, is the punishment is much more serious than eating non-kosher food throughout the year. So as a result, our sages wanted to keep us as far away possible from transgressing, committing a sin, eating any kind of Bethel. So instead of the usual 1/60th, they even made a fence around it that the minutest amount. Also, in addition, being that this is something that throughout the year we're accustomed to eating. Bread is kosher a whole year long. There's nothing wrong with bread that's made with kosher shortening and with eggs, it's perfectly kosher. So being that we're accustomed to eating all along, so out of habit, we might somehow forget that it's Pesach. So these two together, as a result, our sages decreed that even the minutest amount of chometz makes it unfit for kosher ship and consumption. And the Chanan ben Akai Shemel Rosh HaKodesh Baruch Zakei Sheish Yisrael Tziko Chivla Per Mitzvah V'Shinema Avnei Chometz Matzitko Yagdul Torah Yadu Mishkadal Shmira Bo Mod Yivrach Yisrael HaLosek Yasrab B'Chalei Kol Mishichay Chayachon Mechon Chayachon Beis Yisrael B'Agol Mach For Amei
May Yehi Shmech
Shabbat Yisrael 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 Say Sadam Yisrael 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 Yisra